Good fucking morning, ladies.
Good fucking morning, base. Good fucking morning, ladies. How are y'all doing today on this beautiful Wednesday morning? We good? We chilling? Very good. Had a nice dinner. Nice. Very nice. What did you eat? I only had egg sandwiches today. Your mom. Nice, nice. Nice. Chicken parmesan. Chicken parmesan. Very nice, very nice. I like it, I like it, I like what I'm seeing. Smoked salmon and scrambled eggs. Smoked salmon, scrambled eggs. I never really... I mean, I eat it whenever. It's really a weird combination, I think. But you do eat it at like hotel breakfasts and shit. But it is a weird combo, I think. Smoked salmon sandwich. Yeah, that's good stuff. But I don't think egg and sandwich and salmon goes together. But to each his own. Venison with truffles. Truffles. You like truffles? Like, is there any overpriced food that's like worth its fucking price? You know what I mean? Like a lot of the dishes that are overpriced or ingredients and stuff. They're overpriced because of their scarcity, right? I wonder if there's something that's overpriced because of its scarcity, but still worth it. You know what I mean? Lobster. Alright, there we go. That's one. I agree. Caviar? I don't think so. I'm not like... I can eat some caviar because you eat it so seldom, but if you were to eat that shit every day, you would grow so fucking sick of it. Cashew nuts? Yeah, are cashew nuts? Yeah, they are better than fucking peanuts. They are actually. Tuna is not expensive. Truffles are definitely overpriced, dude. Bluefin. Oh yeah, actually I read something in a finance newspaper the other day that the first tuna or something sold for, how much was it? $1.7 million? Like a Japanese luxury restaurant or something. It was crazy, dude. Like, it was a fat fucking tuna fish, like a really big, like fucking, I'm gonna say like 40 kilos or something. I don't remember exactly how much, but. And they bought that shit for 1.7 million, dude. Oh, was it more than 40 kilos? I don't remember. Maybe it was more like 400. Oh, maybe it was 400 kilos actually. But that doesn't make sense. How does one tuna, or maybe it was multiple, but they only showed the picture of one tuna. Yeah, that could be it. That could be it. It's more symbolic than actual value. I guess. Bluefin. Oh, okay. So it says 278 kilograms. Oh yeah. Okay, so $3 million last year. They bought a 278 kilograms bluefin tuna, but this year it was like 17 because of Corona and people not going out, right? But tuna is fucking delicious. Oh my god, yeah, you're right. I ate I think I might have eaten, I don't know if it was bluefin tuna or not, but It was a tuna sliced up. It was like it was raw on the inside and like a semi-fried on the outside, kind of like how they do with sushi sometimes. Like New Friend sushi. A little bit, you know, cooked and then raw. But it was so good, dude. Fuck, that was the best tuna I've ever had in my entire life. But I don't remember what it was. My mom said the name, but I forgot already. Yeah, it was probably bluefin. Very good. Damn, why I love tuna. Why haven't I eaten bluefin tuna before? How expensive is that shit really if I were to go buy it myself? Bluefin tuna price. I guess it heavily depends on your country actually. Let's see in Sweden. What is the Swedish name for it? I'm having a hard time googling here. I'm just literally translating. Maybe it's not. Yeah, it is actually. Okay. Alright. Pris. Oh my god. 4,000 crowns a kilo, which is $400 a kilo. Oh my god, dude. What the fuck? That's so expensive, dude. What the fuck? Oh god, $400 for a kilo? Damn, dude. So it would be like $100 per meal, right? You eat like 250 grams, probably. As a grown-ass man. So $100 a meal. Yeah. I mean, excluding whatever, but usually the other stuff is cheap. You probably eat it with some. What do you eat tuna with, really? I can't even. Not even potato, dude. What do you eat it with? Pasta? I mean, I love making like a tuna sauce for pasta, but what do you eat it with? Like, if you were to get like a grilled piece of tuna on a plate in a restaurant, what do you eat it with? Mashed potato, that sounds pretty good. I was thinking normal potato, but it didn't sound that good for some reason. But mashed potato sounds good. Rice. Oh yeah, rice, obviously, you're right. Yeah. Put mayo on it? No, motherfucker, we're not putting mayo on no fucking $400 kilo tuna, dude. What is wrong with you? You eat that shit as is. You're gonna ruin $400 per kilo tuna with like fucking 40 cents a kilo mayo? Like, what the fuck is wrong with your thought process? It's absolutely crazy, dude. But I'm gonna fucking get it. I don't know if they have it in the local grocery store. Probably not. You're probably gonna have to go to some sort of God of War fish store, right? Specializing in fish only. And they probably have it. They probably have it like pre-made in a good way as well. If you do that in. It's probably what my mom got. Either way, anyway, Don Raniero with the 2 years. 2 motherfucking years, my man. Alright, here we go. Cringe fist delivered. Thank you, sir. 6 disaster. Sandex, thank you, boys. With face meme going strong, huh? Ponytailson is back in town, motherfucker. Dominic B Live donated says, Forsen, I made a custom Minecraft version with the luckiest RNG to test if you're truly unlucky. I know this video doesn't have a lot of views, but I swear I'm not a horse.
This video is brought to you.
Yeah, it has 32 views. Alright. Oops. We'll check it. Let's see if I have a mod available. Safe. Better safe than sorry, motherfucker. Alright. I have a little bit of a stiff neck today. I slept. I think I slept too long because I was so tired yesterday. But yeah. Doran says, good evening, horse. I mean, Forsen. Your Minecraft speedruns aren't going as planned, so I thought I'd replenish your god gamer skills by making you watch. I can't read. By making you watch a god sniper instead. Maybe you heard of him already.
When we say the best sniper, we could be referring to who had the best shot in terms of distance, or who had...
This one has 6 million views. I think we're good.
the most kills to his or her name. Today we'll focus more on the most prolific sniper, the person. When we say the best sniper, we could be referring to who had the best shot in terms of distance, or who had the most kills to his or her name. Today we'll focus more on the most prolific sniper, the person with the biggest body count. You've probably all heard of Chris Kyle, the American soldier who was the inspiration behind the movie American Sniper. The Department of Defense tells us he had 160 kills to his name. Ironically, Kyle was later shot and killed at a shooting range in the US. The British media in 2015 reported that a Royal Marine was the world's deadliest sniper with 173 kills, though they didn't name him. But none of these sniping upstarts have anything on the man we're going to talk about today in this episode of the infographic show, The Best Sniper in History. If you look around the web, the consensus is that the focus of today's show
saw the movie,
is indeed
but
the
I think
deadliest
it was a
sniper
good
that ever
movie.
lived.
I
His
don't
name
remember, it
was
was a long
Simo
time ago.
Heiha, and he was a Finnish army second lieutenant. We are told he killed somewhere between 505 and 542 people. His victims were Russian, and they were killed during the Winter War. This was a conflict between Finland and the Soviet Union that started in 1939 and lasted just over 3 months. That's a short amount.
That's so crazy. What the fuck do you mean? 3 months, 90 days, 500 what? 500 kills? Well, what did it say? 500 to 540. Fucking 5 a day, right? Like, let's not, like, we assume that it's roughly 3 months, 5, 6. Like, what the
Second
fuck?
lieutenant. We are told he killed somewhere between 505 and 542 people. His victims were Russian, and they were killed during the Winter War. This was a conflict between Finland and the Soviet Union that started in 1939 and lasted just over 3 months. That's a short amount of time, but it was enough time to cement Heiha's name in history. The number of casualties in those 3 months was reportedly around 25,900 Finnish deaths and 126,900 Russian deaths. Heiha's kills were even recorded by the Finnish military. The document states how many people he had killed up until that day, not how many people he killed on that day. It's thought his biggest tally on one day was about 25 deaths. On December 22, 1939, the document states that he killed 138 people. On January 26, 1940, he killed 199 people. On February 17, 1940, he killed 217 people, and on March 7, 1940, he killed 259 people. That day wasn't the best day of his life, as he was very seriously wounded. He took a Red Army bullet right to the face, and that's why photos of him that circulate around the web depict a monstrous-looking man. Sorry about being so blunt, Simo. The wound didn't slow him down so much, though, and he lived a long life. He was born in 1905 and lived until the ripe old age of 97, dying in 2002. But who was this man? Well, the Finnish told all kinds of stories about him, as he was the focus of a lot of propaganda. Back in those days, war heroes were an important piece of national storytelling in many countries, used to foment pride in the public and give people hope.
Most skilled and successful sniper that has ever lived.
At the age of 20, he became a volunteer in the Finnish Civil Guard, and it was certain he was going to be of some use.
I like how
Prior
they
to
measure
signing up,
success
he was said to be an
body
excellent hunter,
count.
but he'd also won awards for his marksmanship in many shooting competitions. Apparently, he had amassed so many trophies, his house was full of them. He was later enlisted as a sniper in the Finnish army, and his battleground was mostly in the snow, hence many photos of him are dressed in all white, looking a bit like James Bond. Apparently, the Soviets were a bit behind the Finnish in this respect, and their army was decked out in normal army clothing. This made them very easy to spot and kill, while
What?
Lucky
Like,
Heiha
why?
was extremely difficult to see. The Finnish
That's so weird, right? Why would they have normal army clothing? What is their thought process there? Maybe they were just I think they were just like really underestimating them, right? Like we have so many more soldiers. It doesn't fucking matter. You just surrog them like fucking StarCraft, right? That's probably the thought
media
process.
jumped on this,
But they got
calling him
fucked.
the Invisible Soldier and giving him the sobriquet White Death.
Fuck.
What else do we know about him? According to Business Insider, the Nordic version, he was humble. The same source says he would wait for his victims, sometimes as far as 300 meters away, but usually around 150 meters away. Hard to spot in his camouflage, you couldn't even see his breath in the cold as he put snow in his mouth. The BBC interviewed him on a few occasions, and so we know the following. Apparently Heiha was what we might call a Finnish hick, and enjoyed a life in the wilderness. His hobbies, according to interviews, were skiing, hunting, and shooting. The same article says that the Russians feared this man so much they once tried to...
Wouldn't like a ski mask, not like a full head, but like a rubber mask in white, do the trick as well? Why do you have to eat snow? It wouldn't. I feel like the breath would like condensate on the thingy, right? I'm pretty sure it wouldn't go through it, because I ski myself. I don't really wear those, but I see people wearing those. He had a ski mask. It was extra. But snow tastes good.
To kill him by just
Depending on which
bombarding
color.
the area he was in with hails of bullets and mortar, but they missed and the White Death walked away. They once dropped an artillery shell on him too, and apparently all that happened to Heiha was his coat got ripped and he again walked away with a minor scratch. It's said he treated his occupation as a sniper like he would hunting, once telling the press that he felt no guilt about killing. I only did my duty and what I was told to do as well as I could, he said. As for his modus operandi, the BBC writes, he also became a master of using sounds, smoke, and artillery fire to cover his movements when changing position. With maps very scarce during the war, Heiha relied on his memory to find the best hiding positions. It's said he was always careful and even obsessive about finding the right position, making sure his gun wouldn't jam and generally setting up the place where he would be shooting from. The strange thing is, his M2830 gun didn't even have a telescopic sight. But this was the same gun that Heiha had hunted with throughout his life, and so he was very familiar with it.
What?
It's said that as a kid he would hunt birds in the forests, and to hunt this
150
small prey,
no
he needed
scoping.
to have a remarkable shot. We are told that this is one of the reasons why hunters so often make the best snipers. You can't focus on moving targets at the army shooting range, so experience killing animals is a must. The smaller the better. The BBC writes, as a young man, he also learned to estimate the effects of wind and rain on shooting and conditions in forests. Alas, our meritorious marksman was finally hit in the face, and the shot took off much of his jaw. It's said that he spent the rest of his life in near constant pain, not to mention looking something like Sloth from the Goonies. He had 26 surgical operations, but his face would never be the same again. He would carry on hunting, however, and his eyesight was always just as good as it was during the war. His victims were never again human, and perhaps as moose was his favorite animal to kill, he wouldn't miss very often. He even did some hunting trips with one Finnish president. There is a book about him out called The White Sniper, if you want to know more. We'll leave you with a quote right from the horse's mouth. War is not a pleasant experience, but who else would protect this land unless we are willing to do it ourselves? So, have you ever shot a gun before? Do you think you have what it would take to become a professional sniper? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.
I have
Also,
too much
be sure to check out our
Parkinson
other
to be a
video
professional sniper, even though I'm very good at sniping in games for some reason. I think it's because in games you can flick, but you can't flick in real life. You can. I don't think you can flick a sniper shot at 150 meters in real life. Like imagine, I don't think so. I'd be very surprised if that was consistent. It's too much sway compared to moving your mouse and stopping at a very precise, you know, or moving a rifle and stopping at a precise, you know. I don't think you can flick that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, NA people. You've seen too much fucking John Wick or something. I'm pretty sure you cannot. And the flicks are what fucking...
I have Forsen blood in my veins. My life is Forsen. In your working life and in your living it's always Forsen. I dream of Forsen. When he gets banned, in your mind and in your heart you feel like you are not going to see him anymore. That hurts.
Good one, sir. Good one, man. Alright. Apparently
This
safe.
video is brought to you by my subscription button. Imagine this situation. As usual, you sit on
Forsen,
your computer,
come back to the
wasting
bedroom. I'm not done using the Forsen chair.
your life watching pointless videos of some hobo speedrun in Minecraft. As usual, you hear him calling every run unlucky or something about bad RNG. And then it hits you. Is he really that unlucky that even juicers are laughing at him? Or is he just bad? That's exactly what happened to me. So, in order to test it, I've managed to build a new version of Minecraft. But I've slightly modified RNG in my favor. For example, every time that we're in the end, Ender Dragon will attempt to land at the first try after finishing his flying route. Another example is that there's a lot more lava lakes across the world. Our end portals are always filled with 12 eyes. Piglins return only ender eyes, obsidian blocks and potions. When you're breaking a gravel block, the only thing that's dropping from it is flint. Ender eyes will never break when you throw them. And the most important part, every chest is always filled with the best possible items. The only thing that I didn't change was RNG in structure generation. That means wherever the generated building was supposed to spawn, it will spawn in this exact place. This was done so I wouldn't generate stronghold right under my spawn point, because come on, there's gotta be some content in this video. The rules are simple. First, I'll speedrun vanilla version of Minecraft and see what my time is. Then I'll speedrun my version of Minecraft and we'll compare the results of our tests. Also, there's one thing you should know about me. I've never actually finished any Minecraft run. That's what makes me the perfect test subject for this video. Okay, let's look at our first vanilla run. At first, I was confident.
Wait, what is
that I would
what is the experiment even? I don't understand. He's gonna do a normal run and then a run with his super RNG.
finish this
What is the
run
point
in
he's
sub
trying
1
to
hour,
prove? That
and I'll be done for
RNG is
today.
better with
I got
the
my
cheat
tools
mod,
ready.
or
Got my food, then I got iron, then after a few minutes I went to the bathroom. FYI, yes, I did wash my hands afterwards. After all of that, I fought with some monsters, found a sand temple, and then another one. Then I found a village. And then after 30 minutes wasted, I went to the dark cave. I don't know what I was expecting, but yeah, it didn't go as planned. Well, don't worry, we have a whole night to finish a speedrun in a decent time, right? The next run was looking even better, because at the start of it I've noticed that I got lucky and lava pool was right next to my spawn. So I decided to look into caves for iron, get the food, and build another portal. I don't know why I didn't just do it in the lava pool. I guess past me had reasons. I got flint and steel.
Because you're
and
so
at 9
bad.
I lit the end.
This is my audience in
Not too
general.
bad for one of
This
the
guy's
worst
probably
players
better
that
because he can
ever
fucking
played it.
code Minecraft and
After
shit,
arriving
dude.
at Nether,
But you
I
guys
tried
laugh
to
at me
go
with my
to
hobo
golden
portals
gold, so piglins wouldn't
sometimes once in a
And after
blue
a few
moon
minutes,
failing.
they attacked me.
Motherfuckers, you
And
bad. You bad as
they
shit,
killed
dude.
me. After these 2 runs, there was another run that in 12 minutes ended like this. And another that ended like this. And this one. And this. Yeah, so did I mention that I suck at Minecraft? After a few hours of trying, I was unable to finish any run in decent time. Probably all of them would end up as a 2-hour runs or worse. If I will be able to finish speedrun with my custom Minecraft version, then it will be the best proof that the only thing that counts in Minecraft speedruns is the RNG.
Yes.
Okay, so after the day of failures, I was pumped, because this day, I was the god himself. I was the one that controlled the RNG. Speedrunning like this is a pleasure, trust me. As you guys see, this version is completely legit. We have a Minecraft logo here, splash text there, and Minecraft version on the bottom. So let's generate the world and see how my time compares. I've started my first run, and it was looking great. I've checked if getting flint from gravel works, found a broken nether portal with some good loot, and I started to build a functional one, but then this happened. Second run started perfectly.
Oh, it's
with
so
village
bad,
right at
dude.
my spawn, from which I gather food and beds. Then I found iron in the close by mine. Then I've made flint and steel and a bucket. And I was ready to make another portal, but my Pepega brain decided to throw this run. And after that, I just went for the next one. And the third run. Even though I did arrive at Nether and it was looking really good, I decided that I wanted to fight with Hoglins for the block of gold. Even though I already had one gold block in my inventory, which is enough for ender pearls if you're playing my version of Minecraft. And of course, I lost the fight, and I lost it all. Have you noticed a pattern here? It looks like RNG really helps with the speed and quality of runs, but I'm just too bad to get the full advantage of it. The fourth run was looking amazing. Nether in 6 minutes with lots of gold, 2 stacks of bread, and all of the beds needed for the dragon. 10 minutes in, I got my ender pearls from piglins, and then after 12 minutes of searching, I finally got to the nether fortress. And then, 26 minutes in, I found a blaze spawner. And there's one thing you should understand in this run. If you get at least one blaze rod, you are literally done with the run, because let me remind you, ender eyes never break, and all portals are filled with 12 eyes. That means I only need to get one rod and run as fast as I can to the overworld. But as you might have imagined, I didn't realize this, so I went back to fight for more blaze rods, and of course I died. And there was another run that literally was the same as the last one. I got my ender pearls ready, I got blaze rods, but all of my pickaxes broke and I couldn't get back to the portal. And it quickly became a dead run. Unlucky, I guess. And finally, after all of these runs, there was this one. This run wasn't perfect. Portal at 9 minutes, fortress at 13, so naturally I choked most of this run by dying 2 times. But the portal was so close to my spawn that I decided to go once again. 34 minutes in, I got ender eyes. 54 minutes in, I'm in stronghold. 1 minute later, I find the portal room. This is it.
Forsen's law,
This is
of
the
course.
run. I'll just jump straight to... Wait, what? Well, it turns out that if you spawn ender portal with 12 eyes, it doesn't actually open. And it turns out that I may have broken all ender portals in this world. Even when you create portal in a new place, it still wouldn't open. So I decided to change RNG to 11 eyes and put the last eye into the portal and give it a try. So I'm back in the end. Everything is completely legit here, as you see. I surely had netherite sword and full row of beds with me. Jokes aside, I tried to fight with dragon, and that is the part when experience actually matters.
Mating or fighting with
Even
dragon?
though dragon is virtually always in landing phase, I still couldn't kill him. So I died a few times and just gave up, because it was a dead run anyway.
Been there.
After all of these runs, there's one thing that I've learned. Experience in speedruns definitely cuts your time in some sort of way, and makes you not waste good RNG runs. But at the end of the day, you will only get a decent speedrun if your RNG is on point. Even noob like me with gut RNG can achieve potential sub 1 hour runs. Of course, if he is able to kill the dragon. And that is pretty terrifying, that person that literally can't play this
But
game
you didn't.
with luck can achieve good runs. So when Forsen is saying that he's unlucky, maybe he's right. Or he's just bad, lol. Let's just hope that XQC will never beat Forsen. Because we will be stuck with Minecraft streams for the rest of our lives.
What? This didn't age well.
If
Oh, you mean the next time I take it back, is what you're saying? Alright. I agree. Salsa, thank you for the tier 2, 41 months. Big Stink Poo, Wundertoot, and Lord Shred, welcome back. Rob Gick donates and says, okay, Forskin, here's the PogChamp playlist 2.0 with only game soundtracks. Even though your VOD hasn't been muted after listening to John Wick 300 and Westworld, lucky I guess. But I already have one playlist with 800 songs. You want me to play this one with 80 songs? That doesn't seem like a good trade. That doesn't seem like the best trade I've ever seen. Although we also have a lot of the songs in yours, in the one that Bowman made. Heriza, thank you for the tier 3, 40 months, man. No message here. No message. If you're interested in some spooky shit, by the way, have you eaten surströmming before? I have. The SOS sign incident.
After a year like 2020, the idea of taking a nice hike and getting away from
You
it
have 2
all
minutes
has
to impress
definitely
me.
been an enticing prospect. But after looking into today's topic, I sort of have mixed feelings. And as I'm sure many of you know, countless hikers go missing in a wide variety of bizarre and mysterious circumstances.
No.
Not to deter you
I
from
don't know
taking
that.
hike, as we all know Mother Nature can be unforgiving. But that being said, today's topic should put into perspective just how little we know about the disturbing events that truly unfold when people find themselves away from civilization. The world is both so small that crazy coincidences can occur, but also too large that we often don't find what we're looking for. And that being said, this is the true story of the SOS incident.
I don't know what this is. Is this famous? Yes? No?
On July 24th, 1989, two men had gone missing from Daisetsuan National Park in Japan. And shortly after, the search had begun, spanning the area surrounding Mount Asaidake, and a helicopter had begun searching throughout the day. As the day had come to a close, out of the corner of their eye, the rescue crew had noticed something down below. If it wasn't apparent from the footage already, there was an SOS signal that was visible from the sky, measuring in at 18 meters in length and 5 meters tall, made out of various precisely cut birch trees. This sign was found about 4 kilometers south of the summit of Mount Asaidake, where there was no trail and people rarely ever veered towards that location. Seeing this as a clear call for help, the local police landed and patrolled the area, in order to investigate, and as it would turn out, just a kilometer or so north, the hikers ended up walking out of the woods and were rescued. Shortly after, almost everything was back to normal, and when the hikers were debriefed on the situation, they had been told had it not been for that SOS sign, rescuing them would have been a hell of a lot more difficult. When the hikers were told this, they were puzzled because they had never created any SOS sign. In fact, they had no idea what the police were even talking about, making their initial rescue an insane coincidence that would lead investigators down an entirely separate mystery. Because if they never made that sign, who did?
Your mama.
The next day, police dispatched a second search. The new efforts yielded some very interesting findings. For one, the most notable finding was an entirely separate human pile of bones, and this human skeleton was found 10 to 30 meters around the area of where the SOS sign was. To note some of the condition of the bones there, some of them had gnaw marks on them, likely due to wild animals in the area, and some of the bones were broken as well, indicating that whoever this was may have undergone some major injury. However, this wasn't the only thing found in the second search. And about 165 feet north of the sign, buried in a hole just large enough to fit a single human, under some tree roots, a backpack was found containing 3 cassette tapes, a Sony tape recorder, as well as some basic toiletries and other supplies. After some time, the bones were collected and then later sent to the Ashikawa Medical University, who later declared that the bones belonged to a woman with a blood type of O. This left the investigation even more puzzled, as they soon recognized that none of the items found in that hole under the tree roots had seemed to correspond with anything belonging to a woman. And to convolute things even further, out of the things that were found on
what,
the
they were
tapes for the
expecting
Sony
like
cassette
tampons
player,
or something?
2 of
Like
them
what?
were soundtracks for
The fuck
anime,
you talking
and
about?
the other one had been recorded over, leaving a disturbing message with a man's voice on it.
Ronald McDonald.
SOS の声と同一人物であることが分かった。
Now, what's apparent here is that this person is calling for help, and the literal translation reads, "I can't move, I'm on the cliff. SOS, help me. I can't move on the cliff. SOS, help me. The place is where I met the first helicopter. I can't go up deeply, Sasa. Lift me up from here." Now, I apologize if the translation is a bit rough. However, this person...
Shouldn't there be an official translation by a Japanese person? I can't go up deeply, Sasa, lift me from here.
appears to be calling for help on a cliff, and in case you're unfamiliar with what sasa is, it is a type of dense bamboo, which makes the context of this recording even more confusing. Because this person...
It might be a name, the fucking woman, right? He's asking the woman to fucking help lift him up. And you just think it's Sasa, but it's something else. It's a fucking female name.
To be calling for help on a cliff, and in case you're unfamiliar with what sasa is, it is a type of dense bamboo, which makes the context of this recording...
You think it's called the same in Japanese? Because this is fucking English wiki.
Even more confusing, because this person appears to be on a cliffside in this recording. However, this was found in the lower trenches of a valley. Continuing on, one item that was found that I haven't mentioned yet in that pile of belongings was an ID card of a hiker that had gone missing about 5 years prior, and this man's name was Kenji Iwamura. I will note that finding anything definitive on Mr. Iwamura or the circumstances surrounding his disappearance is incredibly difficult. The Japanese reporting on the situation redacts his name in every public mention of this case, and only a single story from the Associated Press at the time this event took place in an American newspaper even bothers to name him. All I can say definitively about this guy is that he liked anime, he was an office worker, and he was staying at a hostel, and it seems the only reason people knew he went missing was because he didn't show up for work a week later. As a result of this man's name being redacted, there's so many different versions of this story. Because he didn't show up for
I like how everything has a relevance except for this. Alright.
work a week later. As a result of this man's name being redacted, there's so many different versions of the story and the victim that it becomes borderline frustrating. Some sites on this case will mention that he had become an outdoorsy type in his last months. Other tabloid websites will mention that he wasn't the type of person to go for a hike alone. And even other tellings of the story mention that the man was celebrating a promotion at work and decided to treat himself to a trip up the mountain. But ultimately, if you dig back in newspaper archives, you will get one disturbing detail that is left out everywhere else and only told in the American side of reporting. The Associated Press had reported at the time this occurred that when they had reached out to the family of Iwamura, they confirmed that the backpack was in fact his. But get this, they were not so sure about who the person on the recording was, and they could not say that that was their son. So we have a pile of bones, a missing hiker's backpack, a recording from another person asking for help in that backpack, and an SOS sign made out of birch trees that was somehow made by a person who may or may not have had broken bones at the time of the sign's creation. Not to mention these
They didn't
trees were
say it
cut,
wasn't their
however,
son. They
there
said
was
that
no
they
axe or
couldn't
anything of the
fucking
sort that could be
identify
found in the
the
local
voice
area.
properly.
So naturally you have to ask, what the hell happened on this
We're just
mountainside?
jumping to conclusions right away.
Well, after some time, only a few of those questions can really be answered. The first course of action was to figure out what time that sign had appeared, and a local newspaper had reported that on the 28th, it was found that the letters SOS were reflected in the aerial photograph taken by the Forestry Agency in the Geospatial Information Authority of Japan on September 20th, 1987, to create a map. This photo was taken from a point about 3,700 meters above the sky. In the photo, the width of the letters SOS is about 0.9 millimeters. The first S is a little unclear and difficult to understand, but the last S can be confirmed. It's barely noticeable in the photo, but it's clear to the naked eye. The agency and others that take aerial photographs take it every 5 years. Keep in mind this was roughly translated, and I did look for the specific photo that they're referring to, but I don't know if this was released publicly. But this does mean that the sign was potentially undetected for some time past in 1982, and while this seems to match up with the timeline of Mr. Iwamura, what couldn't be explained at the time was the woman's bones that were found. As a result, the remains were reassessed by the Ashikawa Medical University, and they had later come out and stated that they had made a mistake, and the bones instead belonged to a male with a blood type of A. This was enough for investigators to deduce that this was Mr. Iwamura, and with no deliberate signs of foul play, the case was closed. However, that's not to say that all of our questions could be fully answered. And to say that we're missing a few details regarding the situation is a bit of an understatement. So let me start to break down what law enforcement believed happened, and you'll start to fully understand how none of it makes sense. Here is a map of the hiking area and the mountain, and it's believed that he hiked up from the ropeway along the ridgeline. This hike isn't very long or particularly advanced by any means. Now, the only thing you really have to pay attention to on this hike are the two landmarks that let you know when you cross over this ridgeline. That main landmark is the Safe Rock, which looks like this. However, there is another rock along this ridge that looks deceptively similar, and that is the fake Safe Rock. To which two hikers from the beginning of the story
fake Safe
made
Rock.
the same
Maybe they
mistake
could have
and
fucking
led
gotten a
themselves
better
about
landmark
miles
then.
from the SOS sign. As a result of this incident, they ended up putting up ropes to prevent this
Jesus
from happening.
Christ,
But
the
back
people
in the
are
80s,
retarded.
they didn't have this. However, our guy is believed to have taken the wrong Safe Rock as well and trekked along the hill haphazardly until he wandered sometime down into the marsh. And based on my look on the Japanese discussions on this topic, many people are quick to point out that had he simply followed the river and walked along the edges, he was only about 9 or so miles away from civilization. The terrain definitely wasn't the easiest, and it's definitely someplace that people can get lost. However, the fact that he decided to dedicate his time and energy to cutting down trees is another mystery, especially when you factor the geography here really only gave him one direction that he could head, and that was downhill. But I digress, and now that you sort of have a lay of the land, we can start to get into the nitty-gritty in regards to the rest of the bizarre details of this case.
Build a house, Forsen.
So let's start with the recording. Like I said, it's really bizarre that the parents weren't certain that that was their son on the recording, and I've yet to find any amendment to this initial statement. You'd think that a parent would be able to recognize their son's voice without much hesitation, but it is worth considering that this only appears in the American recording of the situation, and perhaps they didn't get all of the details right. In this initial article, it appears they didn't even get his age right. However, I will note, it is actually quite common for initial reports on subject matter to get the age wrong, because everyone is rushing to get the story out. But your guess is as good as mine regarding the other details. And something to consider is if Iwamura wasn't on this recording, is it possible that he met someone on the way up to the mountain? And to tell you the truth, the evidence doesn't point to Iwamura making this sign by himself. In fact, the person who did the autopsy on this case stated that he wasn't even physically capable of doing it solo. Now, you might be thinking, well, aren't birch trees super flimsy? And not exactly. I selected this video to show you because this tree has roughly the same diameter as many of the other trees that were found there. And keep in mind that the tree he's cutting isn't birch, and birch is a hardwood.
Same thing. Alright, you should work your way through the tree.
And I already mentioned this, but he never brought an axe with him or a knife, so it wasn't even fully clear how 19 birch trees were chopped and moved 100 meters into the clearing.
Clearly he had a fucking axe!
Fractured on the left shoulder and right leg. If we are going to argue that he made
I'm
the
fucking
SOS
mauled.
signal,
I'm
we
sorry,
sort
I
of have to make
can't.
the argument that he...
Fuck. It's because the axe wasn't in the fucking belongings that they found later doesn't mean they didn't have a fucking axe. SLTR Donut says, I Forsen didn't know Jackie Chan was a bi. Dude, why you got a timestamp? Huh? Right.
Put on the dirty movie. Hey, I like the ones with a story. What? I like the one with a locker room scene. What? I like the one with a prison scene. I like the one with a shower scene. I like the ones with a white girl. I'm into feet. I like.
Goddamn. Sun Cask is down his phone and says, hello Forsen, can you watch this video of Minecraft's evolution? I'm sure it evokes some nostalgic feelings in the chat, but boomer. We already watched that a long time ago. Thanks though. The Jimmy, thank you for the 1 year for the strong man. I don't know, I'm new. Omega MK with the 3. Nice react posture. I told you my neck is fucked today. Alright, I slept too long on the wrong side of something. I don't know, I'm new. Thank you for the 2 years as well. Enjoy your golden E, man. Thank you, Black Guard with the 3 years. Someone anniversary subs, Pog. Try to identify with a gifted sub. Thank you. Advice map guy donut says Horsen. I don't want to be as annoying as Terraria guy, but I am